These are some of the features I mashed up from 5 or 6 different other sites. So if you come to the home page, there's the two options, the buy or the sell, also the search, same options up top. But then as you scroll down, you kind of see those two options again. So you've got the buy, the purchase right there, some information, and the sell down here. So there's the offer, and the rest of the home page is just probably filler content and links. If you come back up to the top and run the search, we'll have a search bar there. And this is a sample search page I made, which we could probably pipe in just a general IDX, but maybe we also consider, if we're just going to streamline all this data in, is it worth it to just make a little bit more investment to see if it's possible for us to redo a search site. But this is sort of what I had envisioned if I did have to recreate one to make it look different than just a generic IDX, as I think on the car search sites they put everything over on the left, and it also lets you know what parameters that you have checked that you can see right up here, and then scroll down sort of almost endlessly for the most part. So this isn't really a generic IDX. It's kind of, if I had to envision doing a search site, I didn't spend too much time on it, but it might look something like this. And if they select a property, I also sort of re-envisioned this and saw what Zillow, what Redfin did, what Carvana was doing, what CarMax was doing, and one of the things I liked was capturing that big photo for people who just want to flip really quickly and say, is this the house for me? Let's scroll through really quickly. On the left, you get all that eye candy, but over on the right, if you want to be more analytical, you can get all the information and tag along to the features, the market trends, area info, schools. But I think the most important thing that I sort of did that nobody else had done was put up this showing time scheduler, where somehow maybe they can just either select a time that they're free or line this up with other showings as they're going through to sort of add them to their calendar or add them to their cart and schedule showings. And that kind of takes a theme where it combines it almost like a little bit of a sense of Uber, where once you select that, you're matched with an agent who's responsible for those zip codes who can go out and meet you. And the other nice feature, just from a home selling perspective, is if they can see how much they're paying right there. It's so many times you find the house, you see the price, but you schedule the showing, and then you have to come back and find out how much it's actually going to be once you factor in the taxes and so forth. And that's another sell feature to send them over to a lender right here, which probably could just be another generic form. And if they don't like to do any of this, if nothing else, they can pick up the phone and call directly, and we can just schedule this for them, or they can just send a message if it's 2 in the morning and they're shopping on here. But I'll just show you some of those other features that I had screenshotted from some various sites, from Home Junction, from Redfin, from Zillow. And I know we might not nail all of these, but if we just get some sort of data over there, I think it would be a good start. But most importantly, I think if they do want to make an offer, that's the whole idea, is that they get a little bit of that Uber feel where we can schedule the showing for them. And let's say the agent does meet them there and it's a hot market, they want to make an offer right away. Rather than saying, all right, let's go back to the brick and mortar building, sit down, and I'll go through this process with you that sort of just exists in the ether, take out your phone, enter in your address and your info. I do think at this point, prior to this, we'd have a form pop up, and I didn't build the form yet, but I think it's pretty simple. We could have this information captured in the form, then it's basically preloaded. Okay, yeah, I filled out the right information on my form, or maybe no, I gave them a fake name, but if I'm making an offer, this is your chance to correct that. The offer info, we'll just give them some of the basics: purchase price, deposit amount. Nobody's really offering seller's assistance. It's not very favorable, but let them pipe in what they think is a good starting point. And I tell them when they did this, like, look, go ahead, get started on the offer, put in your details, think about with your husband or wife what you want to offer, and then I'll be able to review that with you back at the offer before you submit. I'll give you any suggestions that I think that might help. This is a great opportunity. I think we can capture them in the financing, where we can send this out to a lender form and let them fill in the details. Because if you're purchasing a home, at some point, you got to figure out how you're going to pay for it. And if you already have financing, that's great. If you're paying with cash, probably with interest rates low, more people are borrowing. But down the road, if being a big company, if we can capture their financing, this is a huge thing. I mean, lenders make a ton of money on brokerage fees. So if this is our opportunity to get them to just say, hey, do you know your credit score? Do you know what you're making per year? Have you filed your taxes? How much assets do you have available? What do you have on your car payments or student debt payments? Are you W-2 or 1099? Get some of these buzzwords going for them, and then that can just get sent off to a lender, and we'll say, hey, look, we're going to finalize all this. We'll meet back at the end. We'll keep moving them through the process. This, I'm not sure. This is just calculator stuff, and I'm not sure how much we'll be able to get through on it. But let's say they've got a purchase price. We know the property, their taxes, and with those two, and with the loan amount, for the most part, a lot of this stuff is going to be predetermined. They're going to have an appraisal. They're going to have some lender review fee. So I think as long as we're going to have some upfront taxes, depending on when they're closing in the year. If it's early on, late, it gets a little bit more complicated on the calculator side. But one way or the other, if we can give them a general idea of, look, you're going to need to bring more than just your down payment to closing. There's going to be some other fees involved. So they're like, okay, yes, this is all going to get reviewed with the agent anyway. Additional terms, your financing contingencies, what's your max loan to value, what's the max interest rate if rates change, how quickly you're going to get that mortgage commitment on the appraisal contingency side. Do you need that? If no, I mean, people are waiving all this right now, but I think at least if we give them the option, none of this is really set in stone. It's all just to sort of get them thinking of what's going to be reviewed for their agent. Are they going to do a full-on inspection? Are they going to waive all this? Are they going to do a limited inspection? Is there anything additional that they want to just type in like that? But this is where I really start to think it gets good, because they can fill that out all day long. Now let's ask for their license, because at some point, if this isn't who they say they are, it's going to be tough for them to take out their phone and take a picture of their license. And this is really where I think we get to verify that profile, and a lot of the work has already been done and scrubbed, and it's not too hard to take out your license and take a picture of it. Payment info, I think I might move this till later. I don't want to scare them off thinking that they're going to be charged, but we do want to get them thinking possibly about how they are going to make that deposit. And it would be nice, I think, if they could do it electronically, but we could possibly do that down here when the offer is accepted in the My Order. And then they send all this to an agent, so they can review their terms if they want. We could have everything get redisplayed, but basically what this is saying is, here's your agent information. You're going to speak with them. You can schedule the time if you want. They can contact you in 24 hours. You could do Zoom, you could do phone call, you can do in person, you can meet at the property, whatever you want to do. But in the next 24 hours, this is what we're going to need to get uploaded. The information statement, we'll send all this to them. We can just do it old-fashioned electronically. And that will wrap up basically the review stage. Is once the agent goes over all this with them, has them sign all of this, then they can continue on, and that'll open up this next category where, okay, is your offer accepted? Yes. Signed offer contract. Now you're in inspections. Now your title is getting ordered. Now your appraisal is coming in. And those are all just documents that I think we can just walk them through the process with. Going back up to the sell side, if we go to the home page, and they want to do an offer, whether it's a cash offer or going on the market. This is a nice page that I think we can just shoot out almost as a link, but what I was thinking was giving them the option to do a cash offer or a market offer. And it's pretty much just a landing page if they want to schedule an in-person evaluation. A lot of more filler content, blogging info, but long story short is this is a little bit different. Now we would try, this is a Google Maps Street View, and this would be an off-market property, so it's a little bit different than IDX. I think we'll actually somehow need to get this information fed in where we have the address. There probably wouldn't be a pending price. We would have an estimated price on the house, just like up there. But maybe we can still either A, show them these features that how a buyer would look on their profile. And they might say, well, hey, I want these buyers to be able to schedule to come for this 174 360. Or do they want to schedule to have an agent come out and further their evaluation? So similar setup and concept idea here. I think all this information, school systems, property history, etc., would all be relevant. But a lot of the scheduling, consultation, I haven't completely fine-tuned whether we want to do cash offer and give, or maybe just give them one option and say, hey, look, everything goes on the market. There's no cash offer. Our offer is to go on the market, something like that. But if they do want to get started, really we want them to claim their profile. And if they're hitting get started on getting offer, well, this is a similar thing that they need to do. Start with their personal profile information, fill in their property info, which hopefully we can just get sent in from some sort of county tax assessor information where they can just verify it. Maybe say I had an extra bedroom that wasn't showing. Go to the next stage, and this is where they can upload their photos. We give them some tips. They can select, drag and drop files, show them a couple things that we want them to upload. But that is a great way for them to segue over. Here's that additional details where they can tell us about all the great features that we might not know. And when they continue, same idea here is this all gets packaged up and sent to an agent who nothing really else it's all static until this agent reviews with them. And we'll upload the documents they need. But if they sign and they want to list and go on the market or accept the offer, well, we go into the same stages: offer contract, inspection, title. This is all either the buyer that we're finding for them would do, so they can just follow along. And I think that's about it. I just need to work on the capture form, and also I think we would have more of a profile page, which I haven't done, where we can see what they have scheduled, what showings they have scheduled, and maybe some sort of document exchange that would look like just like a profile with a bunch of cards and sections where they can come over and make adjustments. So that's it. It's in an XT file I can send over. Hopefully this wasn't too long, and we can regroup again soon.